Welcome to Monster Monday. Today I'm going to be talking about the classic, the masterpiece, Jurassic Park, in preparation for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Now I want to get real with you guys for a second. I already recorded this review. It was like 40 minutes long. I checked the footage, no audio. I was so angry, so devastated. I went to bed last night defeated. I loved that review. I wanted to share it with you guys, but it's gone and I have to deal with that. I've already tried to record this review like 7 times since this morning, and every time I've turned it off because I just feel like it's inferior to the one I recorded last night. And I'm feeling very upset at the moment, but you know what? I can do this, and I'm gonna record. Like, this is it. This is my last take. I'm not doing it again. So if I fuck up, I do, and I'm just gonna deal with it because I want to do this in one take. I never want to fucking like alter stuff out. I never want to cut and then come back. Like, I don't like doing that. I like doing one take. But this is it. This is the take. So for good or bad, here we go. And my kids are probably going to come in and screw it up. But you know what? I'm just going to say hi. I'm going to bring them in. I'm going to hold them on. They're going to do the review for me. They probably do it better than I have this morning. So, all right, here we go. Try to reiterate everything I said last night, which hasn't worked so well this morning so far. I'm in a real good mood. This is where people are like, shut up, man. I only want to see the fun, Jason. All right, so here we go. So I've referred to this film as a fuck you film. What does that mean? That means if I ask you if you like this movie and you tell me no, I say what? Fuck you. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Of course, I'm being a little silly for fun. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, and I'm never going to get down on anyone for it. But come on, guys. How the hell can't you like Jurassic Park? I know there's a lot of like film student pretentious people who, you know, want to hate on Spielberg because it's cool and it makes them look like they are this incredible director to be. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to wait right here. I'm going to wait for you to make a movie better than Jurassic Park or Jaws or Saving Private Ryan, or the dude has an insane filmography. So yeah, you let me know when you make a better film than Jurassic Park, and I will listen to you bash this film. Because this movie is a effing masterpiece. One thing I did not mention in my previous review, that one that I loved so much and that I was bummed that I didn't when I got it over, and it's the only thing I did want to add, is I wish that Australian dude, the hunter guy, would have been able to kill at least a couple raptors in this movie. Why the hell didn't that happen? That guy should have been able to kick some raptor ass in this movie. He didn't get to, and that was kind of a disservice to his character, because they built him up to be so damn cool. Another thing, I rambled on and on and on and on about the special effects work in this movie by Stan Winston. Let me just say, as quickly as I can, they are incredible, and some of the best special effects of the time. I mean, they really just blew my mind as a kid. T2 and this came out around the same time-ish, like a year apart. And those are the films that really like set in stone. Like, oh my God, special effects don't have to be a negative to the film anymore. Like when it comes to like CGI and stuff like that. Because I saw the Langoliers and Lawnmower Man and stuff like that. It was like, oh my God, this is the way we're gonna go. Oh God, I can't. Like, I don't even want to look at the screen. Then I saw these and I was like, wow, like anything's possible. We can bring anything to life in films now, and it's only gonna get better. And that's why I kind of get upset with kids today when they're just sitting there and they're talking about the video games and the movies that they're seeing, and they're like, it didn't look that good. And I'm just like, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? You have any idea what I sat through as a kid in the 80s and, you know, films in the 70s even? I wasn't around in the 70s, but I used to watch those films when I was a kid growing up and just being like, ooh, that looks terrible, and it just completely takes you out of it. But the practicals and the CGI and the composites and all that, while is a little dated for sure now, I mean, it blew my mind at that time. When she has the flashlight and she shines it across the T-Rex's eye, and like the pupil dilates and whatever, and it looks so real. In that moment, I believed there was a dinosaur outside that car. They didn't make an animatronic. They didn't have CGI. They didn't have anything. They went and they cloned a dinosaur and they put it in the movie and they, tricked us all and made it seem like, oh my God, look how great these special effects are. And it's like, no, that's not special effects. That's just a real dinosaur. And he killed like the first 2 girls that played that role. That's how my mind was working when I was a kid. Like, that's real. That's a real dinosaur. They're tricking us all. They're going to tell us at the end of this movie that there's an actual Jurassic Park and you need to come out to it to see these dinosaurs that were featured in the movie. God, this better have audio, man. I don't know. You're not getting a Monster Monday review. I'm not even going to do Jurassic Park if this doesn't have audio. I can't handle it. I read the book when I was in high school, so my memory on it's pretty hazy. So any references I make to the book is just purely off of memory from 20 years ago. I did a lot of drinking when I was in my 20s, so I might have drank it all away. But there are some differences, huge differences from my memory. Like, the book is very, very different. But I don't know what that would have looked like if they had followed the book, but I know that this is, in what I just said, is a masterpiece, so I'm glad they went the route that they did. I can only imagine how many little amber balls of mosquitoes are out there in the world. I went on about this for like 3 minutes in my other review. It's just, the whole film is fantastical, and that's what Steven Spielberg does so well. He's great at mastering the fantastical and making it feel real. Like, he can take such ridiculous events in films and we're so invested in the film in that moment that it doesn't matter, because he does such incredible action set pieces and action, like, kind of dramatic moments or thrilling moments, that it's just, we're so invested on what's on the screen that even though our brain might, in the very back of it, being like, that's bullshit, that could never happen. An oxygen tank doesn't blow up when it's shot. Mythbusters proved that, by the way. But it doesn't matter. His craft is so well executed that you just are like, okay, like, that's okay. I'll accept it because it's so fun. Transporting the raptor in the beginning was a great way to start this, kind of foreshadowing the doom to come. You don't know what the hell's in there, but you're terrified of it. And they also do that later when they show the raptor cage and they look down and they see the freaking cow lowered down. It's just that impending doom that is coming, and he's so good at that, like being able to foreshadow the events that are going to transpire later in the movie. You're terrified of whatever the hell's in there. It's like the shark in Jaws. Like, he doesn't show it for an hour, but in that opening when the girl's getting pulled down, all that, like, you fear whatever the hell that is. And letting your mind wander for a while is a great thing, because that's true horror, is not knowing. Like, the unknown is what we fear. But this movie has the payoff as well. Like, it's not like we see it and then it's like, that was it. No, the raptors in this are fucking terrifying. That little clicking toe on the ground, and they have like a permanent smile anytime they look up. They're like just these demented smiling dinosaurs. Oh my God, they're just so scary. Who the hell is this kid? The 6-foot turkey kid? And where the hell are his parents? Like, Grant is going at him with a freaking fossilized raptor claw, and he's talking about cutting his insides out and his innards like falling onto the ground, and his parents didn't say shit. I'm glad he did it, because that kid was a little shit. But I was like, I wouldn't let anyone do that to my kid. I'd be like, okay, you've proved your point. But everyone's just sitting back there laughing. And I have to assume one of those is his parents. I mean, this is an archaeological dig site. Why are those people even there? I mean, I know it's Montana and it's not some crazy out there place. Like, if they're excavating in like the deserts of Egypt or something crazy. But like, who are these people? What are they doing here? Get that kid out of here. The cast, I can't say enough about the cast. Sam Neill wasn't really a big name at the time all that much. So it's kind of interesting that they put him here. They could have gotten some big name at the time. But I love that he goes here. Even though this is probably his most popular film, of course, In the Mouth of Madness, John Trent, that's going to be the character I know him best for my life. But this is a close damn second, and I think he's fantastic as Dr. Grant. Laura Dern is excellent, but I think most people will agree that their favorite part and favorite character of this film is Jeff Goldblum's Ian Malcolm. I adore him. He is the coolest nerd ever on film, in my opinion. Just the way he talks. The way he talks, oh my God. We all have our quirks. I mean, I listen to myself when I record these reviews. I listen after and I hear all this like smacking of my lips after I'm... And I would say, oh, anyways, and I sort of say certain catchphrases, and I say all these things that I don't even mean to. When I listen to it, it's like, it irritates me. And I'm sure a couple of you have noticed, if not all of you. But we all have our things. And Jeff Goldblum has that, life finds a way. Like, he's like that. He's like that in every single film. That's just Jeff Goldblum. But I love him so much that it doesn't matter. I mean, you got the Independence Day. It's like the exact same thing, And he's The Fly. Oh my God, The Fly. Jesus, Jeff Goldblum is fantastic. But this is probably my favorite Jeff Goldblum performance for sure. You got Samuel Jackson in here. Hold on to your butts. And you've got Richard Attenborough, who plays the park owner here, John Hammond. Which love him. He's got his own little catchphrase here too. Everyone's got their own little catchphrase here. Spared no expense. Freaking the guy who plays Dennis, the guy from Billy Madison. His laugh in this movie when Dotson opens up the canister and he pulls it and it's like this high pitched squeal. It sounds like one of the dinosaurs. It kills me every time. I laugh out loud every single time. And Dotson, we got Dotson here. You see, no one cares. So much great comedy in this movie. But yeah, Dennis is a dick. I don't understand what his plan was. If he's this master hacker that can control all the systems, couldn't he just shut down the little places? Like, couldn't he shut down like the embryo storage place, cameras and locks, and then shut down like the places he was going systematically one by one as he was going through them? Like, he had to shut down the whole park. He had to think, like, he had to know this place has raptors and T-Rexes and all this shit. Like, he had to know this was going to let these people out. Like, he didn't care. He was going to get all these people killed and possibly himself, which is end up what happening. I just, really? That was your plan? What an idiot. So I'm glad he died, and he died so awful. And thank God for that. Another thing I haven't mentioned yet, the score. John Williams is the greatest composer of all time. I'm sorry. The guy has done every recognizable score from a big movie you ever heard. Like 90% of them are him. And this is one of his best. When I was listening to it this time, it was just like every single damn song, every single one of them was recognizable instantly. Played well to the scene, really amped up everything. It's incredible. It's one of his best scores, and that's saying something for John Williams. I can't say enough about the FX. I don't want to go on and on like I did in the other review because that just ate up time. Just, my God, are they incredible. Especially like CG work for the time. That scene where the little girls fell out of the ceiling and she's holding on and they pull her up and they pull the leg and the raptor jumps and all that. You have any idea how hard that would be? I always hate when people harp on CGI versus practical, and they're like, oh, they just got lazy. They just did CGI. It's like, do you have any idea how hard CGI is? Do you have any idea how much effort is put into that shit? How they have like 1,000 computer graphics, like, artists and whatnot, and they're drawing, like, they build these things from the skeleton to the ligaments and the muscles and the hair and every individual strand and how it flows in the wind and how... Oh, but a couple guys in a room who put a little, a couple things. I'm not saying practicals aren't amazing. They are. I'm never going to like say anything negative against them. I love them. But please stop thinking that CGI is the simple, easy way out. It is not. Those guys work their fucking asses off. And honestly, the CGI now versus something like the Things practicals, which the Things practicals for me are like the height. They're the bar. They're the greatest practicals for me. The stuff on these movies today, like the Avengers or something like that, they're harder. They're way more complex. I'm sorry. And they're way more impressive. I love The Thing. But come on, guys. Don't be ridiculous. Anyway, I'm not saying you can't dislike them, but don't be like, hey, they're easy, they're simple, it's an easy way out. They got lazy. Go fucking hang out in one of those places with those people who do the CG animations for these movies. Tell me how fucking lazy they are. I love that he keeps them in the dark when Hammond comes over and he offers them the job, and then they fly out to the park. And like the surprise on Alan's face, I really think they might have had a heart attack, like studying these damn dinosaurs your whole life and never thinking you're ever going to see them. 65 million years ago they went extinct, and here they are standing in front of you. I thought that, yeah, that was such a realistic reaction, him falling over and just being like, I can't take it. And oh my God, could you imagine? Jesus Christ. The right explanation is a great way to do this, because this is doctors explaining it to scientists, and it would have been way too much technical jargon that we wouldn't have understood. So it's almost kind of meta in a way, because we're an audience watching them as an audience, watching a film while we're watching this film of it. So I liked that, because that ride is there to talk to people like us, the uninformed, the uneducated in a way. And so when they get on the ride, that's there for us, and not, it's because in the other way they would have had to do it is to have B.D. Wong, scientist character, talking to the doctor, or to the scientist here, the archaeologist and the mathematician and all that. And they would have either had to do it really technical and we'd be lost, or they'd have to dumb it down, and then you'd be like, would scientists really talk to themselves to each other like this? I don't think so. So I thought that was a really clever way, because it's like a cartoon and it's meant for kids and it's meant for people, and it tells us exactly what we need to know, but kind of in a dumbed down way. So I thought that was a really smart thing to do there. And B.D. Wong, love seeing B.D. Wong. I was a big fan of Law & Order SVU, so it's cool to see him. And he's also in Jurassic World as well. So that was cool. Another incredible practical effect is the raptor coming out of the egg. Whew, Jesus Christ, that looks incredible. Life finds a way. Love that shit. And one raptor kills 5 raptors when it comes in there. That is a vicious ass bitch. And another line that I love, and it's something I quote all the time in my life, especially when I'm talking about like more profound things, when I'm talking about things that aren't having to do with films, having more of like a philosophical discussion or whatever. One quote I will use a lot is Ian Malcolm's thing, and of course I'm paraphrasing because I don't know the exact wordage here of what he says, but the gist of it is that your scientists were so busy sitting around trying to figure out if they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. There's such an importance to that saying, and he ends up being so right. Like he's not blown away by, yes, he's taken aback and he's awed, but his instant reaction's like, the crazy son of a bitch did it. Like, he knows this is bad instantly. Like, no, this should not happen. And no matter what you try to do, no matter how much you try to contain this, no matter how much you try and like make them all female and all this, life will find a way. Like, you are tampering with something that you think you can control, but you cannot control this. And I like that he's the first person to realize it, because, Grant and his wife, they're so just enamored by the spectacle, the awe of it all, that they can't. And yeah, they take a step back, and when they're having dinner and they realize the magnitude of it and the threat that it poses. But Malcolm is just like instantly like, nope. I feel like that's how I would be. After I woke up from blacking out, of course, from how incredible that was. I think we all would be blown away. And Grant has like a whole arc here of having this aversion to kids and pushing them away. And, by the end of the movie, they're so close. And that's a really cute arc throughout the movie, just watching his character get over his phobia of children. And I really like how all that plays out. I went on for 3 minutes in my last review about that, but I don't want to get too into it. The kids are very important, because I think the reason that John Hammond wants the kids there is to show, Ian Malcolm and Dr. Grant and his wife, they need to see the park through the kids' eyes, because that's what he's doing this for. He wants to show this to the families. When that lawyer is like, we can charge $2,000, $10,000, he's like, I don't want this park to be for only the rich. I want everyone to see this. I built this for the wonderment of kids. I want to amaze people's minds, especially children. And the importance of bringing his little nephews there is trying to show them why this park exists in the first place. So I thought that was really cool. It also increases tension, because you don't want kids to be eaten. You didn't say the magic word. I've quoted that way too many times. Spielberg is so amazing that he can make a cup of water iconic. Seriously. So much to the point where you'll be parodied in a Wayne's World movie or something. A cup of water. Every time I see a vibration in a cup of water, I immediately think of this film. He's just such a master at certain things, at having imagery that resonates in you for years and years to come. Films just stay with you forever. And the lawyer chomp on the toilet, such a fantastic scene. Vision being based on movement. Grant really had to stick to his beliefs there, because they're just studying bones. They don't know this shit for sure. They've never actually seen one. They could be like, oh, well, I'm wrong. Now they think that dinosaurs had feathers. So they're constantly having new hypotheses and whatnot. So him being his vision's based on movement, don't move. And it's you sure about that? Yeah, 100%, because it's the first one you've ever really seen. And the dinosaur could have just walked over and been like, I see you, and just chomp and be like, oh, they talk too? That would have been great. Now, when they get, the Jeep goes over into the ravine and falls down in there, they have to sidestep it by grabbing out of the rope. But then they would have let go of that rope, as their hands would have been torn the fuck out by that thing. But then when they crawled down past it, they would have had to pass the Jeep on the way down to the ground. Then they get to the ground, they go over, Alan washes his face, and then decides to then climb back up the tree. Why would they pass the Jeep, not call out hey, Timmy, are you alive in there? And him be there's no way they could have passed that car on the way down and not said it. It's it's silly, it's nitpicky, but they were it's right below him, and there's branches sticking out. You can see them all touching the wall. They could have went straight down, got into the branches, called out to him at least. This is the first time, and they were like, hey, Tim, you all right in there? That's so ridiculous. And then the car falls straight down the tree. It's not suspended by anything up here, so as soon as it broke a couple branches, it would have fallen straight off of the tree. And they couldn't have just went around to the other side of the tree where the car isn't, or they couldn't have went up first and then back around the side of it and then down. The fact that they come out and go straight down and then it falls straight. But that's what I'm saying. His action pieces are so thrilling that you don't really care in the moment. You're okay, that's absolutely impossible. There's no way this tree would be fucking standing straight up like that. It would have fallen forward. They could have went around to the other side. With this in your head. But it's so fun that the illogical nature of it just doesn't bother you. Maybe it did, and it took some people out of it, and they weren't able to have a good time. But I can watch that and be like, okay, that's stupid. But man, this is thrilling. And I just enjoy the shit out of it. And little Timmy isn't hurt at all, of course. And how did Ian Malcolm freaking dodge that branch that breaks off the window, and him and the Australian and Laura Dern are driving off, and the T-Rex is in the mirror and all that. They're duck, and he's he's this way and they're this way, so they could have ducked, but he couldn't have ducked. He would have got his head taken off. There's just no way. But as I said, it doesn't matter. It's funny when you watch these things, these action pieces, and you're like, yeah, that couldn't happen. That couldn't happen. That's ridiculous. But it's so damn fun. I'm really looking forward to watching the next one, and especially the next one with this whole lysine thing. They said they made the dinosaurs so that they couldn't produce the enzyme lysine, and if they didn't get it, then they would die. So I'm curious on how that's going to be addressed in the next film. I'm sure they do, but I'm going to be looking for it. And the reflection fake out, when the little girl's in like the oven or whatever the hell that thing is, and the raptor comes and hits itself, and that's so fantastic. What a smart move. That toe tap, I love that thing. I think I already mentioned that though, because I can't remember what review I'm on now. The scene where Grant and his wife are pushing up against the door, and the little girl goes over to the computer and she's like, I know this. Tim's just standing there doing absolutely nothing, and Grant's reaching out with his foot, and they're trying to get the gun. Hey, Timmy, could you come help us maybe? Bring us the gun. I know you just got zapped and your brain's probably not working, but you could probably help out just a little teeny bit. Timmy. And another insanely ridiculous part, as much as I love this scene, because I think this is one of the greatest scenes in the movie. How the hell did the T-Rex sneak up on the raptors? Like, this thing makes a fucking noise from a mile away, and then all of a sudden it became Twinkle Toes Ninja fucking T-Rex. It's just like the raptor jumps and the T-Rex, and it's like, it's an awesome scene, because the other one jumps on its back and he grabs it and he chomps it till it's dead, and then he throws it, kind of like obliterating the past. He like throws it and breaks into this other T-Rex, these old ones, and blows it up. And then there's that banner that falls that says when dinosaurs ruled the earth, and he roars and it's falling around. That's one of the greatest shots ever for me. I adore that shot. It is fan-fucking-tastic. God, I can't say good enough about this film. And just watching John Hammond's dream fall apart before him is really, really sad. Yes, he knows he screwed up. I mean, Alan comes out and he makes that joke, like, after careful consideration, I've decided not to endorse your park. And he's like, yeah, me too. But like when he looks back, like he had this dream, and yes, he knows it failed, but this was his life's work. And he really did achieve something amazing. And it just to watch it all fall apart because of some guy's greediness. But they knew. Like, he knew that this was wrong. In that moment, he's like, what the hell was I thinking? But he still couldn't get over that fact of like, man, like, that was like, this, I had it. I spent all my damn money. Like, it's a shame. I feel bad for the guy in the moment. So, I think I knocked out pretty much everything. Hey, look, I knocked over 10 minutes off of this one. So, yeah, it's a bummer that one isn't. And as I said, if I check right now and there's no audio, then you won't know that this ever happened. So it's completely pointless to even point out. But I'm not doing it again. So hopefully this has audio. Otherwise, Jurassic Park will not. I'll just move on to Lost World, and people will be like, why didn't you do Jurassic Park? And I'll be like, I did. And then I won't answer any more to that. It'll remain a mystery forever. All right, guys.